Yes, thank you for opening space to speak about Brother Eduardo. He changed my life. I was very closed about speaking about this. I will say this. I have never shared directly this question in this way, but I'm very open to do it because I think this can be an opening of the mind for others. I am definitely now open to share my own testimony of how I met this person. He's very well known. His name here in Colombia, they call him here Brother Eduardo. This is a name that the people, the community have given to him. He's someone very disciplined from the plains of Colombia, which has a lot of stories of sacred magos, sacred wizards, or spiritual doctors. I was not at all familiar with any of this work. Someone that is to release entities, to liberate addictions, change states of mind, and have testimonies in such a strong way. It completely changed my mind. I didn't believe that it was possible for someone human to be able to release energies and to work with someone in this way. Already being a medicine woman, I had my own experience and my own way to arrive to. And now after my own experience, we have helped and changed thousands of lives also through my own work. So I'm very grateful for that experience, but it's something that, of course, moved my life a lot. Started having a pain in my body, so painful that I had to go to hospital and stay months in a lot of different places. I will say, and now with complete certain, I had what we call an energy work. Even that I work in spirit, I didn't believe in that moment that it would be possible for me to have something like that. But I had all kinds of weird and very difficult symptoms. I was pumping fentanyl, like morphine in my own body so I could cease the pain. It was so strong that I even had to call emergency room so they could help me in all these medications and still have all these experiences and all this pain, which was very, very difficult. I was in a wheelchair for more than 4 years with the help of my husband, of Santiago, which is also our medicine chief and Kuraka. I went through all kinds of treatments, shamans, healers, exorcists, all kinds of things. Mm-hmm. And I did know that this was something very strange. I had a lot of inflammations and weird inflammations from one moment to another. And of course, doctors were lost. I have a family of doctors. I was in a very good place here in Bogota, and they studied a lot about the Awakolla and all of that. They couldn't find anything that appeared for this kind of pain. They even treat me as psychiatric, of course, at the end, because they had no idea what I had. And this started happening from one day to another. I had very difficult time and different inflammations in my face from one moment to another, or I will fall down to the floor. Very intense and weird situations. Mm-hmm. And it was very difficult. I really wanted to die in one moment. Yes, I was asking and crying for someone to put me in a coma. Mm-hmm. I went to the jungle. I went to my Kofan family here, traditional people that I trust, that I know that they work with all of this because it is a reality. For the Latin people that are hearing us, I know that it's a reality, and everyone in general has had a case of energy work related to their homes, to their families, because it's something that is very normal. Mm-hmm. Here in Colombia, it's something of daily life. And it is something very real. I met Eduardo after a dream that I had and a whole kind of visions that I had during that last week. And I was already without hope, not looking for anything else, but feeling very weird and saying, am I going to stay like this? I didn't believe that my life was just going to be like that. I had a very strong dream. A friend called me and she said, I'm going to go to see this guy that is very famous here in Colombia. And he made one of my friends threw up in some soil and some things. And I was like, that's not true. That cannot be real. There's no way that will happen. Where are you going to go? Don't go by yourself. I want to go with you. And let's see where are you going? My friend was very depressed, medicated, and she was going through a very tough time. And she wanted to try something different. This person had a very good background. So I was sent to a lot of different people, even by the doctors, but they were very dark and they look very dark and very, very strange. Brother Eduardo wears a doctor coat, and he was very serious, but very friendly in the end and more tranquil, like a consultation with a doctor. And I met this person and he said to me, okay, you have this, you have this, you have this pain in these parts of your body. This is happening. I didn't even say my story to him. I just said my name and he just saw me and he told me everything. And he said he needed to go and release something in a specific place and location. And that's it. I said to my husband, I said, okay, I just need to do this. I have faith. I saw people, and this is probably something that creates a lot of controversy, but I saw a lot of people materializing animals and colors, substances, soil, a lot of animals, different things when he did what we call an extraction, and him being inside of his room without touching anyone or, doing anything to anyone, people even in the distant cases like that. So this all, of course, was very shocking for me in the first day.
And that's
my
through
mind couldn't believe
purging, like a purging of that energy. It becomes
yes,
materializes
exactly.
that energy into a physical.
Exactly. They will make it physical. This is something that we call, it's materialization of the energies in different ways. Not necessarily if you have some energy work, but if somebody is very sick or if somebody has something specific in their body, or we're giving something specific in their body, then that will materialize in a very specific way and you will see it. It's something that we are not used to as humans. We think that this is something fake. And I was one of those persons, but this changed my mind completely. And then I understood all the possibilities that we had and the possibilities of relations also with the spiritual world and with our own energy. Because for example, he performs liberations. He's a liberator, so he doesn't do energy work. So he's like a witch or something like that. And I will say that word because that's how some people will relate to someone like this. He's what we call a liberator, and he's someone very bright. He only liberates energies. That's his specialties. So some people, when we have a priest that it's an exorcist, it's called an exorcist. He's very similar to something like one of these religious personalities, right? But he's not a priest, but he is an exorcist and liberator, and he can liberate energies of different ways, different kinds of things. I have thousands of testimonies, like amazing things. And in my case, I was really wanting to die, like, on a wheelchair, and I could walk the next day. I could sleep. Wow. And I could have this feeling that I had inside that was so, so difficult and so sad. I had a very difficult energy that I would carry all the time, and that I could definitely identify that something was with me all the time. Very difficult, and a lot of weight also sometimes in my body that I would fall down. I felt like I had 20 people on top of me at some moments. It was very difficult. And all of these sensations were out. And he didn't even go there personally, He sends someone, and also he does astral work and astral operations. It is an operation. He will do this and change people's mind and situations. He will improve, sometimes not heal completely, because it depends, right, on destiny and a lot of things. But he can change all kinds of addiction situations, people that are very depressed. Of course, energy works and liberation of supernatural entities in the houses, improvement of memory or aggression, for example, in the children. I've seen amazing cases with children that cannot even go to school, that were running away, that will hit their parents all the time, that were very violent, extremely violent. I remember a little kid that couldn't even hug the mother, really difficult. They couldn't even take him to school. He went to the liberation with all these adults just there, standing in the fire. And after 2 prayers with Eduardo, he began playing with him. And then he said, "Oh, that bad spirit is gone." And then he hugged his mother. His mother was shocked. She was crying and doing all this. And the kid just changed completely. And this was only an energy that stayed with him from the mother, from inside, before he was even born, from an energy that from people that didn't want that baby probably to be born, and just energy. Because everything is energy or spirit, you can call it many ways.
Wow.
And the changes are are incredible. Someone listened, recovered their power to listen, and they arrived with these dispositivos on their, so that he couldn't see me when I said, "Everyone, please open your eyes," like after the liberation. And this guy he made such a face, like he was in shock. And then I knew, oh my God, he is listening again. He's hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
And he began crying. He completely recovered that possibility. And that was one of the most amazing things I've seen in terms of his work. But it's someone that can materialize energies to be released, always with a good change. Every single liberation of him will affect life in a lot of different ways. So a lot of people look for him just to release energies of life in general, and to have the possibility of new energies, which we also do. We also work like that. Probably we will need more than one ceremony for sure to do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And he creates processes, like in 10 minutes or less, where people have amazing changes. He can work with 20, 30, 40 people at the same time in a very different parts of places of the world. And everyone will have an experience of his operation. And when COVID, for example, we treated a lot of people by distance. And that was something amazing, because it was a possibility that before I wouldn't even imagine. And, there's a lot of people that say that do healings by distance. And I believe we all have the power to do it. Even Brother Eduardo says all the time, we can all do this. We can all be able to do this. But definitely it's not the same. This is someone that has a gift. I always say it's something also that comes with us in the chemistry of our own mind and how we move energy. Mm-hmm. And he has that gift, like medium. He used to be like a ghostbuster before. That's part of his story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's someone that has been also persecuted a lot, because a lot of people will look for him. So he has to be very private, and he's someone like that also.
Your story really, to me, it brings such a hope to people.
Yes.
Like, you were so far feeling like there's nothing that you could do. And
these processes of energies are, people will not imagine, but there's so many things in our life that are very difficult, and they all come from that spiritual part where energies enter our bodies. When we are, for example, very sad, and when we are without hope completely, in those moments when we really, I will say, in Spanish, I will say, se rompe el alma, we break a little bit our spirit, those moments when we go to that deepness, that's very delicate energy. So then a lot of the things that are negative and a lot of the things that feed from that energy can really harm you, can really touch your life. There's a lot of the sicknesses that are without a diagnosis, that are classified as fibromyalgia, or like one of these unknown diseases, autoimmune, of course, that's the only way to say it sometimes. And then after a liberation, I will say some of them will still be a sickness, but people will improve their quality of life and everything. But in 80% of the times, people can change their life and their health immediately, almost immediately. And that's something that I will say it applies working, of course, in this spiritual world and physical healing. It will be more than 80% of the time. What we have, we can treat it energetically, and people can definitely heal from a lot of the things that we think that is not like that. We've treated a lot of cancers and a lot of diagnoses of very, very serious illnesses, and at least sicknesses can stop being even that they say very aggressive. You have months. I've seen stop completely sicknesses. And if not, at least the process to be liberating the mind and the moment, so that person can enter a very conscious and beautiful way of leading with their sickness. Because we also know that sickness is a path of knowledge, and that it's not because we did or because the guilt of this, but it is also part of our agreements in many ways to do all this, right?
Yeah, for people hearing this, maybe if you haven't ever heard of stories like this, or if your mind hasn't been open to these kinds of things, I know for me, I've been learning more and more about spiritual healing and doing a lot of practice. I do nightly, every morning and every evening, I send healing prayers to friends, and I always am doing that. And in a meditation group, showing other people that you can bless your friends, fill yourself with energy, fill yourself with love
Yes.
and with bliss.
With light.
And see your friends smiling. If you can see your friends smiling back at you, you can send them energy. And I have people I didn't even tell that I was doing this to, and they would call me on the phone. It's like, I saw your face smiling at me and sending energy. Is that we can all learn how to do this. And I think we're moving more and more into this place where this is becoming more of the reality of the world we live in. I think the way that the medicine that we're used to, the way that we go to doctors and all this, I think it's changing in this age that we're in. And I think it's going to be rapidly changing. And hearing about someone like this is just one of the best at this in the world. People do have opportunity to be able to work with Brother Eduardo, right? I know he does come with you here. We're here in Florida in the Tampa area. I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast here live in Florida as well. So if this is something that someone's hearing this, or maybe they know a friend who might be interested in something like this, it is a possibility to be able to connect with Eduardo. Is that right?
Yes, actually, for me, it's very important. And for us, the community, it's very important that, as you say, people that have no hope and people that need a specific person like this. I took years sometimes to arrive to someone that could really help me like this, can listen to this and say, okay, this case really, really deserves that opportunity. It's really a good opportunity. Brother Eduardo will be in Florida on the 7th and 8th in Tampa, and then the 10th and 11th in Miami.
And that's in June?
That's in June, exactly. Mm-hmm. And what people don't know is that, of course, people don't know he's really famous here and all of that, and that can give him a good name. But most than that, I want people to understand that here in Colombia, people will line up blocks to visit him, to have a consultation with him. He will give little papers with numbers and attend, say, 50, 60 people, and that's it, because it's a lot. He will begin working at 4 a.m. People will arrive at 12 in the night, at 1 a.m. to line up to have their spot. Mm-hmm. I had to do that. I had to arrive in the car, sit there so I could sit there at 1 a.m. so I could be one of the first ones to enter. He doesn't even treat people like the liberations that he performs and the exorcisms, which is only that. What an exorcism means, it's liberating and releasing energies. Because a lot of people and a lot of us have a lot of judgment with that word, right? But that's what it means. Mm-hmm. It just liberates energies and negative energies of all kinds. He will never do that procedure in person here in Colombia. He will do everything by distance. And he really loves Florida a lot. He likes that land a lot. And it's the only place wherever he travels, because he will travel to other places of the world, just like one day do a work and then go back. But it's the only place where he's going to be doing the liberations presential, people will really have the liberation there for them. So it's something very unique that doesn't happen anywhere. And I take the time to share about all of this information, which is also, I know, very polemic and very delicate, but it's something very real. Me in my own path and devotion for my own tradition is the only person that I work with as part of the service of what I was given. And because I know it's an alternative to people that, for example, are never going to go to a medicine ceremony, and that, of course, we can help in some part, but this person can really change things that are usually impossible or very, very difficult, like addictions. He can change someone's mind of depression also and have an amazing change immediately. Also with children, with the undiagnosed, of course, any kind of undiagnosed sickness, changes of luck, those people that are really having a hard time all the time. And it's like, if there's something going on, everything goes really, really wrong. of course, entities in the houses, spiritual, of course, spiritual energies and witchcraft and releasing Santeria, voodoo, all kinds of that stuff, which is also important because my community is not related so much with these other communities. But definitely when you have someone with this specialty arriving to another place, someone that is neutral, that is not involved with those same families, is also a huge hope for a lot of people that can receive that liberation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm taking the time to share all of this today. I really look forward to cases that are meant to be for this person to change. And I know now, like after my experience, that all of the things that we experience have also a time. We could have tried other things, or we could have, experienced other different things. A lot of the people that are going to see him are probably going to move energy after today or even before already. The people that will have liberation with him will have experiences or intensity of things happening before 1 or 2 weeks before he arrives, even a month before. And this is a pattern because I've recorded and followed testimonies, and you have a lot of experiences and things move, sometimes stronger, sometimes you just have a lot of dreams and visions. And so sometimes the time is coming for a lot of those spirits to be liberated.
Mm-hmm.
And through our work and through our communication, well, we will have the cases. We only have limited spots. We don't have like a lot of people that will be attended. It will be less than 40 people, more or less, for each city. And because of the time, of course, that he's going to be here. Yes, I really call from my heart that we can get all the strong cases so they can receive a different view and a different help and a change and new energy and a good release of negative energies and liberations and procedures with Brother Caballero, who I really respect. And as I say, I don't work with anyone, and in my own experience, I really support this work. I get a lot of different commentaries and polemic also judgments from this work. But I think it's really worth to speak about that because, as you said, this world is changing. We now have a consciousness and we know how energies work in a different way. And this opens the mind and is very good medicine for everyone that is experiencing or that feels a call for something like this, of course.
Yeah, and I'll say too, with bringing you on to talk about this too, I've heard so many testimonials about this too as well. It's, of course, you're always skeptical when you hear about miracle healers and things, but overwhelmingly, this is the real deal, and it's
Yes.
such an opportunity. So if you're hearing this and you're feeling called to it, we'll put some of the information here in the notes and a way to contact if you would like to set up an appointment. You can get into contact and get on a mailing list. So when he's back in town, so if you're listening to this in the future, right now we're here in 2024.
Yes. And he can do distant, he can do distant work. So we can have like a presential Zoom consultation, and people then can receive, as everyone here in Colombia does. I do liberation every 3 months, more or less. So because of my work, so he can release my energies, and that's the limpia that I receive. And every time I receive it from anywhere and he's been working for more than almost 30 years already, like that.
What a special opportunity. So I love that, it's like sharing these kind of things, hearing your story, opening and giving people hope. Here in America, we don't have words for these type of things. Obviously, we all feel there's so many people that are suffering from depression, from the energy within. It manifests itself in the body as pains, and we give them all of these different names for what it is. But there's so many people that are suffering, and we don't really have ways to talk about it or ways to talk about energy healing. And I love that this is becoming more and more normalized here in America. And so, yeah, we really we wanted to spread this message. So if you're hearing this and this is something that you're feeling called to, Spirit has been working with you to get to the point where somehow you found this podcast, you're hearing this, it's leading you towards your healing that you were always supposed to have. And you just take that step, and the more that you open yourself up to the possibility of it, because it's also you are also the medicine first. You have to also be open to receiving what is available to you. So that, I think that is a big part of it as well, is opening your mind, opening your heart to new possibilities, and being able to receive what's available to you, and learning that you can then also learn how to be such an energy vibration for your friends and send good energy to everybody. Like you said, we're always channeling something or another. We're always channels of, we can be channels of calmness, or we can be channels of agitation. And so we're just learning how to heal ourselves so that we can heal others as well. And so, yeah, I love that we're able to share this and get more exposure for these types of things that most people don't think are real and available. So thank you so much for sharing those stories. And I know that's something that's difficult to talk about. Thank you for sharing the vulnerable stories there. For the first time here with everyone. I know a lot of people will get a lot out of that, and perhaps there's people listening who are in pain that they've been in for a long time too, but there is hope for you. It won't last forever. It can move past these things, and there are things that are available to you that you didn't know before maybe you heard this conversation.
Exactly, Chris, your words are very precise, and I really appreciate everyone that's been listening, and how you contact this intimate space in this moment. And I really call for that, for those cases and those people that really need a help like this. And it may sound, like you do like an interview and you are trying to call the people for this and that. This person really doesn't need to work. Like, he has a lot of work and a lot of people. And I honestly do this opening and speak about this because I really want the cases that need him, the people that are going to resonate and that are desperate because of their family, because of their friend, because of their child, because of their own way of being through a lot of time. Some of us get used to our sicknesses. Some of us are diagnosed a lot of years ago with something. A lot of the people that have mental illness, or that they were diagnosed with paranoia, schizophrenia, and all these things. And then sometimes a liberation like this can change completely that. And here we are, the energy, how it's today and how it's going to reach everyone. And in my devotion to this work, because it's fascinating also, the way to understand about energies and spiritual world, it's my life completely. And now being able to be like a bridge for people, so they can reach this service, that's what I want. So I want the people that have all those difficulty, of course, pain. I say it for myself, of course, pain is one of the things that's so difficult in life. It makes you very, very sad and very bitter. It's very difficult to live with pain, to be able to enjoy when you have so much pain. And heaviness in many ways. So of course we are very welcome. I'm always welcome to to give a follow up and like a good word or like guidance to meet him and to prepare them for the consultation. The consultation is very short, but then the work, it will talk for itself. Like we say, it's only testimonial, and you will leave it and leave it through all that next month after your liberation. It's not only that changes a physical aspect, but that changes the vibration of our life. And if we understand about awakening, we are creators of everything. And if our vibration is able to change and we can receive such a gift like that, then everything changes immediately and it moves to the right place. We then understand all of what happened there. And we see all the amazing changes and possibilities of our life. The same as when we meet our grandfather fire, and we change our life with the medicine, with the altars, and we know that the fire can change all of our energies and all of our cells in one day when our mind is ready and we know that it can do it. So yes, thank you so much for opening space and for touching my heart to my own testimony and being able to share these, these words and this feeling with everyone that is listening to us, and that can come closer to our community and to our ways, and for a good healing and a good peaceful life and relations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was beautiful. I know so many people got so much out of that. And I'll also include information for if you'd ever like to maybe one day get to sit with Andrea for a ceremony. And
of course, we will have ceremony that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That Sunday that he's coming.
Mm-hmm.
We will have a daytime Temascal with our medicine of the Awakolla here in Tampa, in Lutz, Tampa.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And we're going to have a Temascal daytime. That's on that Sunday 9th. Also for everyone, if you want to come to that ceremony, of course, please reach me out or Chris, and we will give you that information and location of our ceremonial, our ritual.